All right, as we continue, famed Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz has long called for Mueller's witch hunt to come to an end, and now he's even comparing the special counsel investigation to the tactics of the former Soviet Union. Joining us now to explain, author of the new book, Trumped Up, How Criminalization of Political Differences Endangers Democracy. You know, I notice you get attacked, but you've been very consistent on the special counsel and the criminalization of political differences.
Oh, yeah. Today, we see that Mueller announces that one of the things that he's going to go after Trump for, and Rosenstein says he can do it, is collusion. Now, he's inventing a crime. There's no such crime as collusion in the federal statute. You can't just make up crimes. Nobody likes collusion. If collusion had occurred, and there's no evidence it did, if collusion had occurred, it would be a political sin. But neither Rosenstein nor Mueller can simply magically make up a crime and say, now collusion is a crime. You want to make collusion a crime in the future? Pass a statute. It's not on the books.
What about the violation of the special counsel law that Greg Jarrett was talking about? And I think it's interesting. 1 week after Paul Manafort's home is raided and his poor wife is thrown in the handcuffs, which wasn't necessary. That's typical Andrew Weissman tactics. But a week after, Rosenstein then authorizes Mueller to do it.
No, there's something very wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, the special counsel should have very narrow jurisdiction, and it should be set out in advance so everybody can see it and know it. You know, the Constitution talks about ex post facto criminal laws. The policies behind that are fair warning and constraining the government. And the government, when you have a special prosecutor, should know, and everybody should know, what he's entitled to look and what he's not entitled to look at. This special prosecutor is going to look at everything. He's beginning to look at President Trump's personal financial matters before he was president. Will he start looking at the women who are alleging actions against him? Where does it stop? We know that the Clinton special counsel started with Whitewater and ended up with a blue dress, and that's just wrong.
Where does Jonathan Turley, a smart law professor, also on the other side politically than where I am, he made a good point. He thought the appointment by the Attorney General of the prosecutor Huber that actually helps Trump because it could move so much faster.
I agree with that. And first of all, that's what should have happened when special counsel was appointed. They shouldn't have appointed a special counsel in the beginning. They should have had somebody within the Justice Department look at it initially, look at the whole issue of Russian involvement in the election, and then, if it looked like there was evidence of crimes that couldn't be investigated by the Justice Department, then maybe you move to special counsel. So you think
the Attorney General has a right?
Has what?
Has it right by doing it this way.
Oh, I think this time he has it right. Now, the other problem, of course, is Rosenstein. I don't know how he remains on this case. He is the major witness that any decent Trump lawyer calls. He's the guy who wrote the memo. The first question you want to ask him if there's an obstruction of justice investigation is, how can there be obstruction of justice? Yeah, you wrote the memo authorizing the firing.
And
How is he in the case?
He renewed the FISA application.
Yeah.
And then he appointed Mueller. So he's conflicted on 1,000 different ways. All right, here's where we disagree. I argue that Hillary Clinton violated 18 U.S.C. 793. She didn't want congressional oversight, mishandling of classified information. Then she subpoenaed emails are deleted, 33,000, then acid washing the hard drive, and then beating up your devices.
And as a result of that, she lost the election because Comey investigated it and said there was no crime, but what she did was careless. Don't you think that's the appropriate way to deal with this
politically? Listen, if you're my defense attorney, I love you, but is it careless when you acid wash your hard drive, delete subpoenaed emails, and beat the crap out of your BlackBerry?
Well, she didn't do that, of course. Other people did it. And the question is that was she appropriately investigated? And was the decision a correct one not to proceed criminally?
But then that brings up Lisa Page and Peter Strzok and James Comey and Andrew McCabe and Loretta Lynch meeting Bill on the tarmac. That sounds like a fix.
I don't like any of that. I think Bill Clinton made a terrible mistake having that meeting because that's what led to the Attorney General recusing herself, leading to Comey taking over the investigation, leading to the statement he made, leading to her losing the election.
Strzok and Comey writing the exoneration months before they interview her or 17 other key witnesses?
It's worth looking into. It's worth
sounds like a fix, is it?
Not a special counsel, but it's worth looking into. Again, maybe a political sin, but not a federal crime.
Okay, but if you write an exoneration before an investigation,
not a crime.
It sounds like the fix is in. That would be obstruction, wouldn't it?
No. First of all, I don't think the Attorney General can obstruct justice by...
I'm not talking about the Attorney General. I'm talking about the FBI Director.
It's a stretch, and I don't want to stretch the criminal law. You've exposed it. Let the people judge. Let the public judge. I don't think appointing another special counsel makes up for the mistake of appointing the first special counsel.
Thank you, Professor.